How is everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing good today. I'm actually here with one of the most wanted in America. I mean, that's a good thing. That's in a good way, a good way. Most wanted for, just as far as just helping you build your business. I mean, Andrew does a lot of things. Everybody, if you've seen my feed, if you've seen anybody else's feed, friends on my timeline or, in my group or whatever, you pretty much seen his post, you've seen people talk about it. I'm excited for him to be here. He's busy. We actually planned this probably, I don't know, almost a year ago. We've been trying to.
No,
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
I had stuff to do. He had stuff to do, but obviously he's a lot busier than I am. But still, we're so happy that he is here. He is going to come in. Actually, just go ahead and do this now, before we really get started. Go ahead, grab a notebook, grab a pen, because you're going to want to take notes on this. I mean, you saw the post. You saw everything that he did. I mean, as far as just in a short amount of time. This guy, he knows what he's doing as far as setting up systems and everything, as far as building Facebook groups. That's his specialty. But, I mean, he has other things in that, man. He's good at building relationships. He actually just did a group. I mean, he actually just had a conference that he did, a live event. And a lot of people showed up. Everybody said it was powerful. I mean, the things, once you get in touch with these people, especially if you get in with him, once you get in his close-knit group, you will actually, I mean, you'll just expand and you'll grow. I actually talked to one guy. I'm going to call his name out. Actually, he is, I met him in Atlanta, J.R. Reeves' event. What is his name? Philip. And actually, he was in Germany. And his business was doing pretty good, but then I actually met him again in Miami. Actually, I saw him in Atlanta the first time. Probably about 4 or 5 months went by, and I saw him again in Miami. And he told me how his business blew up. I mean, I think he made a lot of money within a month. And I said, well, what in the world is going on? He said, I'm working with Andrew Kroeze personally. And then my mentor, one of my mentors, actually Robb Quinn, it was actually mentored by Andrew Kroeze as well. There's a lot of other people that he's, close-knit with. And I'm happy to have him here. I wanted to go ahead and, let him talk and just tell us about his story, how he got started, how he transitioned out of a job and everything like that. So thank you, Andrew, for hopping on. Appreciate it. And glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me. And so happy to be here. Oh, no. Is he gone? I don't know if I'm live by my... Oh, you're back.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just dropped out. So I'm going to drop out a little bit. So just keep talking. I can still see you and hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm so confused by this. But yeah, it started not too long ago. I've only been an entrepreneur for a little over 2 years. And I was working a 9-to-5 job selling CRM systems, Microsoft Dynamics, and Salesforce. And then I set a 90-day goal because I wasn't happy with my life. I hadn't really achieved much that meant anything to me. And this was in April of 2017 that I set a goal to lose 20 pounds in 90 days and to quit drinking for 90 days because I was going out every weekend, just partying too much. And I wasn't happy. I was pretty depressed. And didn't really feel like I had any direction in life. And then I set that goal, and that was the turning point where by achieving the fitness goal, I saw my body transform. And then when I hit that number, so I started at 183 pounds, and 70 days in, I looked down at the scale at the YMCA, and I was 162 pounds. And it was in that moment, I was like, holy shit, if I just put my mind to something, I can achieve it. And that was the pivotal, turning point for me in terms of momentum. And entrepreneurs, our drug of choice is momentum. We catch that and we keep going, and magical things can come out of that. Yeah, I hit that goal. 2 months later, I quit my job. Then I started an advertising agency. I was basically a freelancer running Facebook ads for local businesses. Started with the regular niches, chiropractors, restaurants, gyms, and grew that fairly quickly within 90 days because I was clear-headed. I was in the best shape of my life. I wasn't drinking. Everything was good, and I grew that super quick. And then I opened up a Facebook group to document my journey. And that grew super quick as well, 0 to 1,000 members in about a month. And then people asked for courses and coaching and consulting from me. And so I put up a post and made $6,400 from that one post in one day. Like in 24 hours, $6,400. And I didn't even have to get up out of my computer chair. Like, it was sweet. It was from a beta launch. I didn't even create any of the course material before I launched it. I built it out along the way. And since then, I have been doing that, growing my Facebook group, everything totally organically, no paid ads. And now I have 10 employees, and we have done over $1 million, and we have over $1 million in our run rate, or in our MRR, so doing over $100,000 per month for the next 12 months, just right now. So that's pretty cool since the event. And things just have dramatically changed. And it really started with that 90-day goal and continuing to set 90-day goals. But that first one, to lose 20 pounds and to quit drinking entirely. So.
Sharing your story. I know a lot of people talk about, well, actually specifically David Goggins. I'm pretty sure you know who he is, a great motivational speaker. And just the fact of how he started pretty much with, doing exercises and everything like that. And then everything else just started to transition. So I guess that's pretty much the steps that you took as well. So, I mean, as far as if somebody wanted to make a change in their life, would you recommend just doing, because some people talk about, well, set, a lot of goals at one time and then try to go after all these goals and do all that stuff. Would you recommend that, or just going after, try and do one particular thing at a time? So, I mean, what would you recommend?
Yeah, I would set 1 to 3 goals for 90 days, like personal goals if you're still working a 9-to-5 job. And you need to remove something if you're going to add something. So I removed partying and drinking and replaced it with fitness and nutrition. So if you're adding these goals, you need to be removing something as well. And I think that's a piece that's often missed. You need to create the space in your life to make something new. And it's addition by subtraction. You need to take something away to add something. So I always talk about coping versus thriving. Like, take away your coping mechanisms and add in thriving goals and activities. And the best way I've been able to stay on track is this app called Day Count. So let me pull it up right here. This tracks how many days in a row you've done something. So I've got it right here. Day Count. I've been sober for 485 days. I've stretched for 14 days in a row. I've no YouTube videos for 2 days, 10 minutes of meditation, no hookah for 10 days. So as you can see, I'm removing things from my life and I'm also adding things to my life. And what Day Count does is it holds you accountable to what you're doing, because I always think, oh, I want to do this. Like, I want to go smoke hookah. But I think about, oh, I don't want to reset my day count. Like, I want to reach my goal. So that's a super helpful tool. It's small, but super helpful.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, because I know, especially when you try to implement a lot of things at one time, then you actually get nothing done because your mind is pretty much scattered over everywhere. You're not focused on one particular thing. And let's also talk about, especially, just going from, I guess, an employee to, transitioning from an employee to an entrepreneur. I mean, what things actually took place in your mind? Because obviously you have a different mindset as an employee as you do, more so as an entrepreneur. Because as an employee, you're thinking, well, I'm going to get the paycheck. The paycheck's coming at the end of the week. Regardless of what I do, how much effort I put in, I'm going to, pretty much get a paycheck. Now, depending on if you're in sales and all that stuff, I mean, obviously, yeah, you get commissions based off of, how many sales and all that. But I mean, pretty much my background is laboratory. So regardless of whatever I did in the lab, whether I made a mistake, whether how many samples I put out, whatever it was, I was going to get a paycheck in the end. But then once you transition to an entrepreneur, it's not so much, set in stone. So, I mean, what type of things did you implement to make sure that you were actually going to, pretty much get a paycheck, at the end of the week, the month, or whenever, a consistent paycheck?
Yeah. I think what you need to think about when you're transitioning is you need to prove things to your brain that it is possible. And you're not going to prove to yourself that you're able to make 10K per month next month. It's not going to happen. You can't, there's levels to this, and you can't jump from 0 to 10K in a month. What you need to do is start thinking smaller and set smaller goals for a shorter period of time. So you can have that 10K goal, but make it in 6 months or make it in a year. But your first goal should be getting your first payment online, like no matter what the price point is. And then just slowly add on top of that. Cool, I got a $17 payment online. That proved to my brain that that's possible to make money online. Now, new goal, I want to make an $100 sale online. And then you just take it step by step. For me, I started with side hustling, my job, and then having a Shopify store that didn't take off. Like, it wasn't a good store, but it proved to my brain that I can make money online. And that was the first step. I didn't think about that at the time. Like, my brain was like, I'm going to scale this Shopify store 7 figures. It was stupid. And then I got disappointed when I didn't do it. But I look back and I'm like, holy shit, that was so important, because I got to the next level, which was just getting a payment online. So when you're transitioning, smaller goals in a shorter amount of time, and you can set that big 10K per month goal, but make it like 6 months out. I see so many people just disappoint themselves month after month after month by setting too big of goals in 30 days. Like, you can set big goals, but make sure they have the time frame where they're achievable.
Yeah, that makes sense, because, a lot of people actually go out there and they tell people, it's like, well, if you get, especially in the agency world, because I know I have some agency owners in my circle as well. But, as far as, they want to transition from their job, start a digital marketing agency, and then they want to go from whatever they're making on their job automatically, up to 10K, 20K, per month. But people don't necessarily think that, you need to set goals. And there's a lot of, that deals with, a lot. I mean, if you're actually wanting to look at, to get, a mentor, somebody that actually wants to mentor you, Andrew is good at doing that. Because, I mean, obviously he's being straight up with you, because a lot of, experts or gurus, as they call them, they actually give you a goal that really you cannot reach. And obviously, like he was saying, you're left with disappointment. I think I heard, I think it might have been Travis Stevenson talk about this, where he was actually talking about, if you continuously set goals and you never reach them, that's actually going to lower your morale. I mean, it's actually going to pretty much make you, think that it's like, I'm never going to, reach these goals. So you need to actually reach, set a goal where you can reach, and, like he said, it's incremental. So you actually need to think about, once you do set that goal, obviously it's going to give you energy. It's like a snowball effect, pretty much, once the energy starts to go, I mean, especially, me working in the lab and all that stuff, once a reaction starts, there's really no stopping it. I mean, once you mix certain things together, there's really no stopping it. And that's kind of the way it is, with entrepreneurship as well. I mean, once you continuously start to do things, once you continuously start to actually, get, goals, and once you start to accomplish your goals and everything like that, it actually begins a snowball effect, and you want to accomplish more goals that actually give you confidence and everything like that. So yeah, that is a good point to bring out. And let me actually go to the comments here real quick. Actually, my wife is on here. She's actually saying coping mechanisms. She says get rid of them. That's good. And Sarah is on here. How you doing, Sarah? How are you doing? Tasha's on here, which obviously Tasha Taylor. Actually, she's one of, I guess, she works with Andrew, so obviously they know each other. And Jennifer, thank you for hopping on as well. Jennifer says hello. So, and obviously, I know your expertise is Facebook groups. But actually, before we actually get in, well, actually, let's talk about that. So as far as Facebook groups, I mean, obviously you said when you transitioned from an employee to an entrepreneur, you actually, well, you said you had your Shopify store, and you also said, you started with an agency. So how did you transition from, I guess, agency work into Facebook groups? I mean, how did that, how did that come about?
Yeah. So I just started a Facebook group to document my journey of growing my agency. And I called it the Six-Figure Digital Marketer. I was making 10 to 15K per month. And it grew super quick. And then people started asking me for coaching, for courses, all of that. And I put up a post for a beta program saying, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, running you through a program for 6 weeks to help you out. And made $6,400 from there. And I'm like, as an entrepreneur, I'm always trying to find points of leverage. I mean, as a CEO, that's all you're looking for. Like, how are you leveraging your money? How are you leveraging your team? How are you leveraging your systems? How are you leveraging data? Like, those are the 4 points. And just being able to put up a post and make that amount of money was way more leveraged than what I was doing. So I kept running my agency, but I started slowly removing the agency and started adding more of the Facebook group side of things, more courses, more coaching, because it was way more leveraged. And I transitioned out of the agency and then into more of a coaching and consulting role. Because it's just way more leveraged and way more impactful for what I wanted to do. Like, it was more true to me. So
that makes sense. So how did you? Because a lot of people, they tell people to actually, start a Facebook group. So I don't know how much detail, because obviously Andrew has all this stuff lined up in his course. You can check it out. I'll put a link after the interview and everything like that, where actually he has 2 programs, but he can go into detail about that if he wants to. But I mean, as far as starting a Facebook group, a lot of people have issues with just, first off, just getting, well, actually, one of the number one issues is people think that they can't start a Facebook group because they don't have anything to talk about or anything to say. So first, let's address that and deal with that. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, if somebody came up to you, and obviously you're pretty much going to tell them to, well, obviously there's a lot of other things, but one thing that you're going to tell them to do is actually start a Facebook group. So what if their response is, I don't have anything to, talk about, to tell them? I mean, what exactly would you tell them as far as that? I don't have any content no stories, anything like that. What would you tell them?
I'd tell them not to start a Facebook group. I'm an honest fucking dude. Like, if I don't think their Facebook group is gonna thrive, I'm gonna tell them not to start it. But taking it back to proving things to your brain, if you're not in the headspace where you think like you can create content that will engage your audience, then you need to prove that to your brain by starting with your personal profile and create content on your personal profile that engages your audience. And like, as soon as you see engagement on your personal profile, that will give you confidence to open up a Facebook group, and that you do have the content that you can create for a Facebook group. So I always tell people to start on their personal profile, prove it to themselves, and start growing that audience. So you build up an audience that you can move to your Facebook group. So I actually advise not starting with a Facebook group. My program, the Group Growth and Monetization Blueprint, starts with your personal profile and content on your personal profile, and the 11 different types of content to move a stranger to a raving fan of what you do. And that's all inside the Group Growth and Monetization Blueprint. And if you're just not confident in it, then you need to start with your personal profile.
That's good. That's a good point. And once, because obviously this started happening to me as well. Once, I kind of did that because obviously I went through Robb's program, and I went through your program, and actually still in your program. That's the thing about Andrew's program, is the fact of, some of these programs and everything, they have a start time and an end time. Andrew's is you start and you pretty much never end. You just pretty much, constantly and continuously go, because he has group calls every week, and he brings top niche entrepreneurs who are pretty much in, just giving you ideas and how you can grow your business, how you can grow your group, pretty much just anything you need, any business, problems that you're having, any issues that you're going on, not even just business problems, just personal problems or anything like that. He actually has people that actually come in, top niche entrepreneurs that'll come in and actually help you do what you need to do to actually accomplish the goals that you need to accomplish. And I mean, some of the things that I've heard on, I was actually on one probably about 2 weeks ago, and he actually, I think he called it, what was it? Conversational, how did he put it? Conversational, like neuro-linguistics, or conversational hypnosis. And I was like, what in the? And I mean, it went pretty deep. I mean, the guy actually he dug deep. I can't think of his name.
Yeah,
now.
Spencer Burnett, Identity.
Yeah. So it was pretty deep in detail. I mean, I missed a lot of those because I've been out of the country and everything. But I mean, just the fact of that you have just every week. I mean, some of these programs and everything, actually, maybe they meet once a month, maybe they meet once a quarter, and everything like that. So, but every week you actually get, and it's not just the speakers itself. I mean, there's also other entrepreneurs. I mean, it's the community of entrepreneurs. So the thing is, if you guys need help in your business, whatever it is you're doing, because there's niches from everything. I mean, you got health niches, you have people who are in agencies, you have people who are just doing content creation. If you need, anything that, any help with your business, this will actually, help you out and everything like that. But I want to actually say, yeah. So let's talk about, I guess the progression of posting things on your Facebook page, because once I started doing that, people started hitting me up in my inbox. They started asking me questions, and my wife is always on me, and she's saying you cannot continuously give them, answers for free. She's like, you have to pretty much, start charging them and everything like that. But I mean, the thing is, it's like, at what point do you get to the, where you just, how do you prevent people from coming in your inbox and, just giving out free information? Because I know I have a big heart. I know you do as well. So, I mean, how did you transition from actually just giving out free information to actually charging people to give information?
Yeah, I think it comes from the frame of, if you are just talking with them in Messenger and they're asking you questions, like you're essentially just giving them Band-Aids. Like, what they really need and what's really going to transform their life or their business is like a program that they're investing into themselves, because when people invest into themselves, they actually fucking take action on it. Like, I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past 2 years, and I think that's why I'm at where I'm at right now. I mean, my work ethic, and actually, like, you're giving yourself the gift when you're investing into yourself and coming from that frame when somebody's asking you questions. You want to transition it to, if you think you can help them, to say, hey, let's hop on a 15-minute phone call and connect and see if I can help you. And then you can take that phone call into learning about their problems and what they're currently experiencing, and give them a prescription. Hey, I think we should take this to a longer call. I have a program that I really think that can help you solve these problems. Are you open to extending this call, or would you like to schedule a call a little later on? So that's the easiest way to do it. Get them up. Like, if they're hitting you up all the time and you think you can help them, get them on a 15-minute connection call, take it to a sales call. Another option is, if you want to make it a little bit more scalable, we teach our clients how to create $97 masterclasses that solve a very specific problem in their ideal client's business or personal life. And then you base those masterclasses off the questions that you're getting in Messenger and on your posts over and over and over. So you just say, hey, I have a masterclass that will solve this exact problem. Here's the link if you want it. And then that way there's an exchange of value there, where they're not just taking from you. They're paying you money to buy your masterclass, and both parties are happy.
And let me see. So my wife actually says, do you take people on a journey in group? Do you set it up like a mental funnel and call to action?
So you can. We do not. We have a 5-day challenge, Facebook group growth and engagement challenge that we've started tagging our new members in. So they go through the 5-day challenge. At the end of each day, there's a call to action to join the group growth and monetization blueprint. So it's kind of like that. I'm honestly, Mike, you're going to be surprised to hear this. I'm not a good marketer. Like, I'm not. I'm just really good at getting people results. And I just show people that I get people results. And that's how I market. I'm very bad at like psychological marketing things, but I'm really good at delivering results. So, and like the best things that sell like your services, your programs, what have you, are your testimonials. And we have a shit ton of them. So, I mean, the main thing is like genuinely care about people and get them results. Because I've never been a really good marketer. I've just been really good at getting people results.
And that, I mean, that's pretty much all you need to do anyway, because that's really what people want is results. So, I mean, regardless of, you know, I know very good marketers, but yet they're so good at, you know, marketing that that's all they can do is really just market. But then once you get into their program or, you know, into their mastermind or anything like that, you know, it's pretty much just, it's like, where are the results at?
Yeah. Can I share a little?
I mean, that's really good.
I'd love to share a little golden nugget of course creation.
Oh, yes, of course. Go ahead.
So it's a huge pet peeve of mine when I buy a program, like a course, and the videos are basically just marketing, and they're just telling me a story about themselves for like 15 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck did I just buy? I bought a course to get me a result. So I just want the goods. I just want the golden nuggets. So how we've started setting up our courses, we break it down into modules, like a step-by-step process to get people the result. And then within each module, how we have it set up is an overview of everything that's going to be taught in that model. So the what, and then really quick, why each video is important, and then how to complete the action for each video, or how to complete that thing that you need to complete for each video, each step in the module. And then the very last thing in each video is a call to action. This is exactly what you need to do right now to get the result that you want. So we've started setting up our programs like that, and the results have been fucking bonkers because we don't market in our courses. We set them up to get the clients the result. So if you want to set up your courses in that way, it starts with what, why, how, and call to action. So if you set up your modules like that, what is it? Why am I doing it? How do I do it in a step-by-step, step 1, step 2, step 3, boom. And then this is what action you need to take. And if you set up your programs like that, you will get your clients results.
That makes perfect sense. I told you guys that everything he does is pretty much, you know, he just has a system the way that he does stuff. So if you have any type of value, receiving any type of value, hit the like button, hit the heart button, smash something, put a comment in the box. Actually, let me address some of the comments. So actually, Sue hopped on, which I know you know Sue Moses. She's actually in the group monetization group. So it says, hi, Mike, you made it. And let's see, I already answered that question with Sue, and then I know you know Nick as well. Actually, I met Nick at a Tai Lopez mastermind. So that's how we first met. Then I saw that he was actually in your group as well. So he's on here, and he says thanks. So Nick, you are so welcome.
Can I put a public apology out there as well to Tai Lopez? If you're watching, I've always talked shit about Tai Lopez, but I've been reflecting on this recently. I am so fucking grateful for that guy, because if he hadn't brought so many people into the market, and if he hadn't inspired so many people to quit their jobs and realize that entrepreneurship is an option for them, like that actually happened with me. His course was the first one that I bought, and it inspired me to quit my job. Was it a good course? No, it was fucking terrible. But I am so grateful for him because he's changed so many people's lives. He's really been like the ignition key to so many people like quitting their job and being inspired to start entrepreneurship. So for all the shit that I talk about Tai Lopez, I want to put a public apology out there and say, I'm sorry, Tai.
Actually, yeah, because actually, well, I love Tai Lopez, and I mean, I guess even kind of you were talking about. I mean, yeah, some of his programs and stuff like that are questionable, and pretty much just as far as getting results and everything like that. But I mean, the mindset. Tai mostly focuses on just setting the right level and the right mindset, and pretty much just like you said, he actually pretty much it takes employees and it lets them realize and understand that they start looking at different things, because actually that's kind of how I started out with Tai Lopez in the inception of me transitioning, pretty much just my mindset change. He was one factor. I'll say I had a little bit before that. My wife was actually number one first. She was actually the one that actually got me started, seeing that you can make money online, because actually she made money online, and I was like, I started looking into it. But yeah, Tai, I mean, I love, Tai, yeah, he's good, as far as he is a very good marketer, and he's good at putting things together. I mean, if you look at some of his courses and everything like that, it's just pretty much, his courses actually, he brings in other people to actually teach and everything like that, experts on the subject, which, I mean, it's your pluses or minuses. I mean, he's the one that actually put the course together, so he pretty much gets the money, and, I don't know how he distributes it or anything like that. But, and then Sue actually said, she she thinks that masterclasses are fabulous a way to get started with online coaching, which that is very good. And Jennifer says, are these master classes paid or free? Which I think you covered that. So I don't know if you want to address that again, but you said that
I've seen, I usually charge $97. Well, I've always charged $97 for my master classes, but I have clients that charge $47 to $197 for master classes that are typically 90 minutes to 3 hours long. Usually you schedule them for 90 minutes, but some people like Mario Pajaj, if I said that right, he just did one that was like 3 hours and 15 minutes. So sometimes you just get into the flow and go ham. It's a fun way to get people just like, holy shit, that was so much value in like 3 hours. And then some of them will upgrade to your program. So if you have programs, but you can also just start with the $97 masterclasses.
And then I know we got a little bit more time here, because I know Andrew's on a tight schedule. My wife says, yeah, it's charged. He said 97 masterclasses, which you just addressed. And Jennifer says, is the 5-day challenge automated or held live for the 5 days on scheduled dates?
So I did them all pre-recorded. They weren't live. If you want to check out the 5-day challenge, just go to 7-Figure Business Scaling Secrets. That's my Facebook group. You go to the units tab that's on the left-hand side, and you scroll down a little bit, and you'll see the 5-day group growth and engagement challenge. And I've actually used that to grow my YouTube channel, to grow my messenger bot list. So when I first released that, I made a post in my group saying, hey, who wants to go through this challenge? And then everybody that commented, I sent over a messenger bot link. So they clicked that to join my messenger bot, and then I dripped out the videos each day and they were hosted on YouTube, and then I just moved everything to my group after I created that post and sent all those messages out.
All right, and then Sue has a question. It says, what, if anything, should we post on our page?
So on your business page, you're not going to get much of any engagement unless you have like hundreds of thousands of likes and they're engaging already. But you're not going to get that much engagement. You get limited reach on a business page unless you pay. It's a pay-to-play environment. So we don't post anything on our business page. I think we have a few posts that are just copy and paste from my personal profile just to have something there. But we have a business page, because you need to link up your messenger bot to a business page, and you can't link it up to a personal page. So that's a reason why we have a business page.
And then my wife says, yay, Tai. And Susan says, it's Mario, however you say that, Pahai. I guess it's Pahai. Yeah.
Got it.
So, yeah. So that's good to know. And then obviously, yeah, so this is going to be the last question. Usually I close on this question, and I'm pretty sure you heard this question before. I really didn't go back, probably listened to it maybe last year sometime on your interview with Robb Quinn. But so I guess if you were to have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, ooh. It's a good question.
I thought this would be easy for you. I'm sure Rob asked you this question before.
I probably said something stupid like flying. One fucking superpower. What came to my mind was fucking human connection, like being able to connect deeply with other humans. I don't know how to put it into like a non-creepy superpower, but our whole business is our purpose is to connect people to their tribes and help them grow their tribes. So our purpose is human connection. And I went through 5 years of depression where I didn't feel connected to anything. So my superpower would be something around just feeling connected to everything all the time. As strange as that sounds, but I think it's what lights people up. Like when you feel more, you just feel more alive. So, yeah.
And there's a few more questions trickling in, but I know we still got maybe like 1 or so minutes left or so. But actually, Andrew, if you want to ask these questions, actually, Andrew will actually come. Actually, you can go to a group if you want to give a shout out.
Right here, Mike.
What did you say?
Cool. I'll just answer them right here. That's cool.
All right. So I didn't know how much time you have left, but let's see. So my wife asked, she said she just resurrected the old group, and maybe I should start a 5-day challenge.
That's probably the best thing to do. I mean, if you have over like 500 people in that group, typically it's not worth trying to get the engagement back. I would just start a new group. But if it's under like 500 people, I would start with a 5-day challenge. Usually that's the best way to get the engagement back up.
All right. And then how do you, let's say Jennifer asked, how do you get content to post daily?
I think the biggest thing is just doing cool shit. Like make your life super fucking cool and do things out of the ordinary and push your comfort zone, and stories will come to your mind that you can tell. But besides that, customer research. So if you're, for example, if you're a fitness coach, you can ask, hey, what's your number one struggle when it comes to dieting? And then people will say, what's a good example? I'm too addicted to sweets. And then you can create content around how you can wean your addiction off sweets. So you just ask your audience what they want and then create it.
And so,
sorry, Mario. My bad, dude.
Mario's on it. Let's see. And actually, Andrew has a gift that he wants to give away to you guys. Actually, I don't know if you want to talk about it or not. It's a revenue calculator. Actually, put that in.
Yeah.
So actually, I just dropped it. Just dropped it in the comments.
Yeah. I think what holds a lot of people back is not setting clear goals and not being able to see how possible it actually is to reach your financial goals. So what I've done is I've created a revenue calculator where you can actually plug in what your annual goal is for your revenue. And then you can break it down into how much you need to sell to actually hit that goal. You can change like the numbers of your offers, and then it will break it down into how many sales calls you need to get on, and how many reach outs you need to do to generate those sales calls. And then you'll look at those numbers and you're like, holy shit, that's possible. I can hit $1 million in a year if I just set it up like this. Now I need to work backwards of like, how do I need to set this up? So it just puts it in your brain of, holy shit, this is possible.
And then Mario says it's all good. He says it's fine that you that he messed up his name. But that's all. That's the joys and the benefits of being on live. I mean, you can say anything, do anything. Anything can happen. So I thank you, Andrew, for hopping on. And I hope you guys can see that. Actually, I got a message from Facebook. I don't know if they changed something or not. I don't know. Hold on.
Jennifer said something important. She said, if you are camera shy, how do you manage to come on live consistently? It's by doing your first fucking one. Just I challenge you to do your first Facebook Live right after this. Just hop on live. just accept you might poop your pants by just being so nervous, but just do it and it will get out of your system. Like, I got a message yesterday. Somebody reached out, an old friend from college reached out to me on Snapchat. She's like, how the fuck are you on all these stages now? Like, you were so nervous doing a presentation in front of 10 students in college. And I'm like, yeah, I just started doing it. And I relate my nerves more to excitement than I do to fear now. And it's just a transition by doing it more and more and more. So just fucking do it. And it'll become natural, it'll become a thing. So, yeah.
And yeah, that makes sense. Actually, I want to, since you touched on it and since you brought it up, since you addressed it, actually, I'm the same way. I mean, I'm an introvert. I mean, I've taken many personalities tests, Myers-Briggs and everything like that. And I'm an introvert. So, I mean, if I can get on here and do it, then you can as well. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people just talk about, just getting started, make imperfect action. I mean, you don't have to be perfect in everything you do. Just go ahead and start doing something. I mean, I have a saying, I have a logo. It's pretty much just, always be moving, because an object at rest stays at rest. So, I mean, you have to constantly, continuously be moving. I mean, just get up and do something, and don't just sit and wait for, pretty much everything to be perfect and set in place. Don't wait for all your ducks to get lined up in a row or anything like that. Don't wait for the fear to go away, because the fear may not ever go away. And she says, with overcoming shyness. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. I mean, just get out there, just start doing it. And actually, just to let you know, just to give you a little bit, I talked about this in some of my lives before, some of my other interviews and everything like that. But actually, it was a lady that actually hit me up in my inbox, and she was saying, Mike, you used to be shy, you used to do all this, you used to not say anything. And she said, now you're on all these lives and everything. And even you can talk to my friend, like one of my best friends, even my wife in general. I was telling her pretty much how not to, how I didn't want to go on social media, how I didn't want to show my face, how I don't want to put my kids or anything on face. And then I just started doing it, and it actually becomes pretty much a habit. And I won't say you get used to it, because I still get nervous with interviews, still get nervous on going live. So the fear and the shyness may not ever go away. But the thing is, you just have to constantly, continuously, progressively keep going and keep moving forward. And then she says, actually, Jennifer says, thanks, I will. And my wife says, give yourself a challenge. I did that last year. It gets better after each one. Yeah, it does. It does get better, I guess, in a way. But I still have some issues with just jumping on. But once I get started, everything else just pretty much just falls in place. And Sue says, wise words, Mike. And then also wise words, Andrew. So you guys give a shout out, or actually you can give a plug to your group, which he pretty much just said his group.
Yeah. Seven-figure business scaling secrets. And there's just a bunch of good stuff in there. Whether you are shooting for that 7-figure number or going for 6 figures, it's either one. It's great for both.
Yeah, so thank you guys. We had Andrew Kroeze on. Thank you guys for hopping on. Thank you guys for staying engaged. If you found any value from this, obviously you got friends who want to start a Facebook group. You got friends who want to, maybe make extra money, and maybe you yourself want to reach out to Andrew. You got a story to tell. I mean, that's one thing about Andrew. I didn't necessarily get into his goals or anything like that, but I know he has one particular goal. You can see how big his heart is, because he said on one of his posts that he wanted to give away $1 million before he actually turned, what was it? 30?
3 years, yeah.
So actually we did not get into that, but I mean, his heart is big, so he actually wants to help you guys. So if you want to connect with him, share this video, and actually if you want to connect with him, just go to his group. But if you want other people to actually find a mentor and an expert, or somebody who's already doing this, has already helped numerous people, I mean, you can go to his page on his personal Facebook page. You can look at all the testimonies. You can go to the link that I'm getting ready to put in here. You can see all the testimonies that are actually on the page of people who have actually went into his program, who he's actually helped. And you can, I mean, obviously he can do the same thing for you as well. You just have to stay motivated, positive, and you just have to do the work. But thank you again, Andrew. Everybody's saying they're giving their shout outs. Jennifer says, thanks, you will. I think I threw that up there. And Susan says, cheers, gentlemen. And my wife says, thanks, Andrew, for hopping on. So we thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you again, Andrew. I know you have a busy schedule. So thank you for hopping on. And we finally did it, finally got the interview, got another one under my belt, and it was good. So appreciate you hopping on, and take care, everybody. And until the next time, we'll see you again. Have a good one.